Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your boy MM2K of the UbiMos Podcast, back again with another show. This is episode 5. Can you believe it? We're already on episode 5 already. And people told me you're a fool, MM2K, for trying to have a Ubisoft podcast. Like there's not enough Ubisoft news to have every week. said this is going to be something you're going to be doing once a month at best. Right? That's what they told me. And boy, have we proven them wrong, because we got stuff every week. There's so much content. Let me put it like this. I've done a lot of podcasts, Xbox, PlayStation, cloud gaming, and there's so much Ubisoft news to where I have to plan podcasts out 3 weeks, sometimes 3 shows ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, this main subject matter only became the main subject matter because it struck recently. You know what I'm saying? But the content that's in most of these shows, I've mapped out weeks ahead of time. Ubisoft, as I was explaining to somebody, Ubisoft is a very, very loaded company to talk about. I mean, there's so many things going on, and even though we're coming at it from a enthusiast standpoint, that doesn't mean that we just report on all the good stuff. You know what I mean? Because we want to keep everybody abreast of everything that's happening with the company, and there's so much going on that it's hard to say, okay, I'm just going to dedicate one show. We would have to like lightning round everything, which we definitely don't want to do. We want to take the time to discuss what's going on with the platform, so it gets its just due as far as attention is concerned. So yeah, don't think that we're sitting there scrounging at the final hour to come up with content. Like I said, there's so much content that I'm mapping stuff out 3 weeks ahead of time, and there's so much stuff that we're talking about that, man, we're already on episode 5, which is fantastic, and we hope that you're enjoying it. Again, I am your host, MM2K of PTS Network and the UbiMos platform. All right. And what I want to say is thank you for all your support. We're going to be adding more stuff over time. Like, we want to do more than just on Mondays. We want to make sure that all of our Ubisoft content ends up on this channel one way or another. Whether we stream on Twitch, whether we stream on Kick. As a matter of fact, after we're done with this show, we're heading right over to Kick to stream some Division 2. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to stream some Division 2, some Dark Zone. It's a very nerve-wracking experience being over there on the Dark Zone, over on Division 2. Like, I get angry when I get captured, but when I can get away with stuff and extracting stuff, it's all the more fun. So I think we're going to go and do that. And then after that, if we can squeeze out some time, I'm actually going to go and do a stream back here on the UbiMos channel. 1440p stream. We're going to do it of, I think, Far Cry 6. That's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to do Far Cry 6. All right. So with that said, again, we appreciate everybody. Thank you for joining us. We got a loaded show today. I'm just sending out notifications. So whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this VOD, do us a huge favor. Tweet this out. Let everybody know that we're definitely live. Okay. With no further ado, let's get into today's shows, where the topics are E3 is our big topic today, and Ubisoft pulling out of E3, which a lot of people are like, meh about it. I don't feel that way. I think I have a unique take on it, and we're going to break that down. We also have rumors. We got leaks and rumors and stuff like that. We got one leak about Avatar Pandora's Frontier. We have another leak / rumor about Xbox possibly finally getting Ubisoft Plus this month. And some evidentiary things that may back that up. And then lastly, we're going to talk about, let's see what else we got here. We got Xbox. We got in conjunction with Ubisoft going to E3, they've signed up to Summer's Games Fest to punch E3 in the gut. So we're going to talk about that too. But again, our big story, which we're going to get into later, as far as answering the questions that we've come across on the internet, as well as any of your questions, we're going to handle that all in the latter part. All right. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. Well, you know what? I lied to you. Before we get into it, I would be remiss if I didn't show you the following. This is our website for all things gaming. This is PNTS Network. And as you can see, hold on, let me go to our homepage. We don't go there. All right. We write on everything, including our love for Ubisoft and their games. As you can see, one of my latest Division 2 streams are already up there. So definitely check that out. We got all of our content from people like Squids that does content over on Cloud, Dosage, our sister site that handles all cloud gaming. And you know, Ubisoft is big there. And as far as podcast, we got last week's show up here as well. So definitely come check out our content. Go to pntsnetwork.com. And if you want to learn more about your boy and what I'm doing, come over to pntsnetwork.com/MM2K Gaming. It'll land you on my page. You can see me if I'm on Twitch. We're trying to get Kick at it on here too. The YouTube videos on MM2K Gaming. We might add UbiMos Gaming on here as well. So definitely come check that out. It's going to be great stuff. And we hope that you appreciate it. All right. With that said, let's get into today's first story, which is this. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora details leak online. Now, this is a very interesting story because it seems like this is true. Sorry about that. Very thirsty. This seems like that this is true. Let me just give you a synopsis of this story. All right, so the highly anticipated game, Avatar's Frontier of Pandora, has had some exciting new details leak online. Developed by Ubisoft Massive, the game is set in a world of Pandora from the hit movie Avatar. The player will take on the role of Navi, a member of an indigenous species of Pandora, as they explore the vast open world filled with new creatures and environments. The game will utilize the latest technology, including the Snowdrop engine, to create stunning graphics and immersive gameplay. Now, the leak has revealed the game will be a next generation exclusive, available on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Amazon Luna. While no official release date has been announced, fans are eagerly waiting more information about the exciting new addition to the Avatar franchise. So let's see. Let me do this real quick, because I want to make sure that I keep my notes up with you guys. All right, so here's what they say that came from the leaker. And the leaker is, what is the guy's name? Oh, man. A Script Leaks R6. So if you also are an Ubisoft enthusiast, you might want to, you know what I'm saying? You might be inclined, right, to go check out that individual. Make sure you're following them, because they usually end up with some serious Ubisoft content, and it all seems to be true. You know what I'm saying? It all seems to be accurate. It all seems to be true, because man, oh man, oh man. Let me check something out real quick. Make sure that our bit rate is good. You know, there's always some type of complication whenever we're trying to do something. Stream output. Okay, no, everything seemed good. Stream. Video. Okay, everything's good. All right. It gave me a false positive on some stuff. I just wanted to make sure everything looked good. And let me pop out this chat too, so I can better see any of your questions. Okay, we got it. Golly. Sending me messages every 6 seconds every time I want to do something. YouTube, cut it out. All right. So here are the elemental breakdowns of the game according to, again, this person, Script Leaks R6, who seems to have an inside track. And we say this person has an inside track because all of the content regarding the leak has been deleted from their thread. All right, so let's look into it. It says, harness your incredible become Navi, harness your incredible strength and agility while customizing your character, crafting new gear, and upgrading skills and weapons to fit your play style. Fight off the dangers of Pandora as you embrace the precision of the traditional Navi weapons, including your bow and spear thrower, or leverage your human training with destructive weapons, such as assault rifles and shotguns. Capture and bond with your personal Banshee, a large dragon-like winged predator that will give you an edge in aerial combat and can be used for traveling long distances. Unfold epic wonders of the western frontier, a never before seen continent of Pandora. Journey through the beautiful yet unpredictable open world regions where lowering your guard can lead to deadly mistakes. They say it will reportedly offer multiple combat styles and give players a choice to use traditional Navi weapons like a spear or a bow, or embrace brutal training methods and weapons of RDA, which include shotguns and assault rifles. Skill trees and customizations will also factor in the game as the players upgrade their weapons. Let's see here. Given the fact that the information from leaks seem to have taken from a press release, it's fair assumption that Ubisoft will be offering a new look at Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora in the near future. So yeah, this seems to be legit. You can't even go to the thread anymore and see anything. Everything's been removed. I'm interested in this. I'm interested in seeing this. Avatar is a very popular franchise, and if Ubisoft can capitalize on that franchise and put some of their Ubisoft magic into the game and make it one that people would enjoy, then I think this game could go a long way into restoring some of that shine to Ubisoft's name that they used to carry. It's become a thing, like, and I was saying this in a podcast I was doing yesterday on a totally different subject matter. It's become a thing to hate on Ubisoft, and we talk about Ubisoft like nobody buys their stuff. But there's reports out there, like that was released via the Microsoft's attempted acquisition of ABK, that Ubisoft may be the number 1 or number 2 publisher on PlayStation. That's no small order. So even though it's become popular to say, I don't like Ubisoft, I can't stand it, it's the popular thing to do that gamers do. Like, gamers operate in these tropes, in these groups now, and I don't like them. You know what I mean? Because it's the popular thing to do, I think gamers feel like that they got to follow that like this path that this beaten path that these guys are on must be the path to prosperity. So I don't like Ubisoft either. Ubisoft has to change that trend, even though it's an unfair trend. It's not doing them any justice, and it's not right. It's not an actual portrayal. They got to change it. It's out there nonetheless. And hopefully doing well, getting some popularity, actually hitting projections. People like me who unapologetically promote or like and are enthusiasm for the Ubisoft style of games that come out. It's easy for us to say, oh, you guys are just hating. Y'all just piling on to the next thing on the internet. Who cares what you have to say? Go find something to be angry. Go find something else to be angry about. It's easier for us to say that when Ubisoft also hits its projections. But when Ubisoft don't even hit their own projections, it's a hard sell. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to convince anybody via a conversation when that's a factor. So what you have to do, if you really want us to enlighten people who may enjoy these games, look, don't listen to the crowds. Judge it on your own merits. If you want us to open up people's minds and have those conversations, you got to at least hit your own projections. And a game under a franchise as big as Avatar might be the thing to do it. So hopefully they see some success with this. Hopefully they strike some pay dirt. I'm interested to see it. The stuff that's involved might make it an interesting venture. Another thing that was mentioned too was that it might be a first-person game. So this might be Far Cry meets Avatar, which might not be a horrible concept. We'll see. You know what I mean? So very interesting stuff. All right. With that said, let's get on to our next story, which this makes me feel icky. I'm not going to get into all of it right here. But I don't like this. So Summer Games Fest swipes Ubisoft as E3 2023 continues to collapse. And this is actually a story before the inevitable ending of E3 2023. E3 2023 actually has been canceled. We're going to talk about that as part of our big story. Ubisoft's role in helping put in the final, of the final nails to that coffin and what this means. But let's do a quick synopsis of this story. So, the annual Electronic Entertainment Expo is facing further difficulties. As publisher Ubisoft has announced it will not participate in the event, citing the ongoing pandemic as a reason for the decision. This news comes as E3's relevance has been called into question, with several major publishers and developers choosing to skip the event in recent years in favor of hosting their own online showcases. However, the Summer Games Fest, a digital gaming event created in response to the pandemic, has announced that it will be partnering with Ubisoft to showcase its upcoming games instead. The move is seen as a significant blow to E3's future, as the event struggles to maintain its status as the premier gaming industry event. As the pandemic continues to impact the gaming industry, it remains to be seen how events like E3 will adapt to the changing landscape. I hope this is something that we really consider for this discussion. All right, so here's my problem, briefly, and then we're going to get into the bigger thing. If you ask me where I would rather see Ubisoft at, I would rather see Ubisoft at E3, even if I'm there in person or not, opposed to not being there. Summer's game, look, I get why Ubisoft would rather partner with Summer's Games Fest opposed to being with E3. It's because of the way that E3 is structured. And because of the way that E3 is structured and what E3 actually means, E3 costs these companies a lot of money to attend. So they don't want to attend and pay all this money just to showcase games. I get it. Because the other part that it's for is not relative the way that it used to be. And I'll get into that in the latter part. My thing is, Summer Games Fest is not okay. Ubisoft has to change. They have to make some core changes. They still can survive. They still are pulling in. What is it? Let me see. What is Ubisoft's? What is Ubisoft's? Can't even spell it. Ubisoft's gross earnings in 2022. Okay, so in 2022, Ubisoft made $2.37 billion, and that's down significantly from the $2.6 billion they made in 2021. That's a significant decrease. So yeah, I mean, they're still around. They're still making money, but and let's take a look at that. Let's look at something here. Allow all. Annual income generated by Ubisoft from fiscal year. Okay, something 2021. Okay, they were. Oh, okay. All right, I see what they're doing. Okay, this is net income. So they really had a bad year in 2020. Oh God. Anywho, so 2.4 billion is what they made in 2022. So they're still pulling in some money. In 2021, 2022, it looks like their net income was 79 million. So wow, they got a lot of overhead. Holy cow. Jesus Christ, out of 2.2 billion, they only have holy cow. They only have a net revenue stream of 80 million. Holy cow, you don't even have 100. Jesus Christ. Anywho, they still are making money. It looks like they lost 120. They didn't even make any money in 2020. In 2020, they lost 124 million. In 2022 or 2021, where I think that's the year that they had Assassin's Creed, and all that stuff. And I think this is fiscal year. So the fiscal year of 2021, which I think was a result of 2020, you guys are probably saying, MM2K, what are you looking at? Show us. Let me see if it'll let me show you, because this is based off of Statista. And Statista be active. Okay, here we go. So if I'm reading this right, and holy cow, they've had some rough patches. I mean, video games ain't cheap, but they lost 124 million in fiscal year 2019 to 2020. They had a real good fiscal year in comparison to most, like their third highest ever in the 2021-2020 year. But I think that was due in part because they had that big year where Valhalla came out, Watch Dogs came out, Immortals Phoenix. I mean, they loaded that year with games. They loaded them. And so I think the fiscal 2021 is a result of that, of those games. And yeah, the year that they lost 124 million, I think that was a result of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, because they really didn't have anything that year. Yep. I think that and that year that would have fed into this, I think Ghost Recon Breakpoint was a result of that, and they lost 124 million. So that you could tell that game like tanked. They did well in 2021, and in the year with Far Cry 6, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. At least they didn't lose money. But Riders Republic and Far Cry 6 wasn't enough because they brought in considerably less. And the thing here is you want the trajectory to keep going up. Like, yeah, you're going to have some breakout years. Like, you're going to have breakout years that are just better. Like, when you look at PlayStation, PlayStation in 2019 became a victim of their own success. Like, they loaded up 2018, and then in 2019, they really didn't do that well because Days Gone underperformed. And I think Days Gone underperformed due to lack of support. I think Sony's brass just didn't have confidence in the game, and it really didn't get supported. And then you had Death Stranding that came out later that year that really didn't do anything. And so because they did so well in 2018, but were so far off the mark in 2019, that I think that prompted Sony to change a lot of its stuff. And then out goes Sean Layton, in comes Jim Ryan as head of SIE. I'm going to say this. You can tell that Ubisoft really cares about making games. And yes, you're going to have good years and you're going to have bad years. But you got to see this trajectory constantly going up. You know, like, as long as the atypical steps are going up, and then, you know, you have a good spike and it goes down a little bit. As long as when it comes back down, it's higher than the year previous, then I think you're on the right path. It doesn't seem like that. And then you look at, I don't know what came out. It must have been like Assassin's Creed or something that came out. Fiscal 2017. It must have been like some Assassin's Creed games or something that came out that really gave them that huge bump. But the following year after it, you know, your revenues needed to be like, I want to say 108 million. So that's why I say Ubisoft has to do something. And apparently their internal checks and balances aren't good enough. They're still making money. I'm shocked to see that their net revenues are that small in comparison to what they bring in. Holy cow. With that being said, like, I would expect at least 100 million. And they've hit 100 million a couple of times, but I would expect that would be the floor. It's 100 million. Anywho, the thing is that Ubisoft needs to be able to change some core fundamental things so this scale continues to trend up, even though there's a spike. Like, on the opposite end of that spike, you don't come down too much unless you just, let's say you release 3 games of the year. You know what I'm saying? And they're all 10s, and each of those games sell 30 million. And then their net revenues are like 300 million. Then I get that. Then I can get the following year's dip being significant because of that. You know what I'm saying? However, when you come out on the other end, it needs to be significantly higher than the year prior to that big jump. And they're kind of getting there, but it's not consistent enough for me. Like, when I look at, like, they had a couple of bad years, they retooled, and they started making some significant jumps up. Then they had another horrible year. They got to change that trajectory. And I get video games can be finicky, but when you have a winning formula, and your checks and balances are good, then you don't run into this as often as they have. And I don't think that Summer's Game Fest is the right checks and balances. And here's what I'm doing if I'm Ubisoft. I'm not partnering with Summer's Game Fest because Summer's Game Fest ain't gonna help me. I am partnering with E3. I'm partnering with ESRA, and I'm coming up with a way. Let's work together to remap E3. Because, and then what you do is you put yourself to the test and you say, we do best when we can come to E3 and we come out of E3 looking golden. That gives so much, that brings so much anticipation to our games. We need that. We need the influencers out there, talking us up, getting excitement on about us again, instead of all this bad news about us. Like the Summer's Game Fest is not going to do it. And that's why this gives me a bad feeling in my stomach, because it's like going to a musician who, okay, maybe they were at a record label that, is taking this good old time releasing their album, and they're frustrated and some things are happening, but instead of working out with the record label, another record label tells them, you know what, I'm going to give you, we're going to give you like a $20 million advance, and we're going to put your out. I mean, all that content that you have, we negotiated with your old label. They're going to give it to us. So we've paid for that. We're going to release that album as soon as you sign this contract. You come up with the date. And that might sound all good and dandy for you personally, but you don't get the same support mechanism. You don't get the same oomph and the same push from this new label. And in the long run, because you don't, your product is going to be worse. And then you get less compensated. Let's just say the royalty points that you get per song is much less. And they attribute it to the simple fact that they had to buy your content from the old record label. So instead of getting 15 points on every record sold, instead of getting 15 points or whatever, or 7 points, you get 3. But you were so hell-bent on getting your record out that you couldn't separate the forest from the trees and see what was best long term. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't think it's good for Ubisoft, and I really hope that they burn it up this year. Meaning they really like set the floor on fire. I kind of do, but then I don't, because they gotta get out of this rut. But I don't want them to, because even if they do well this year, then that's going to be less incentive for them to go back to E3. And E3 is important, not just for me to watch games. That's not it. I'm going to explain to you why E3 is important. We're gonna get into that in the final part. But I don't like this whole ordeal. This is a shame. I kind of get it, but then at the same token, this is not good for Ubisoft. Like I said, we're gonna talk about that when we get to our big question. Yo, we got the homie Squids in the house. Squids, good to see you as always, brother. Yo. Thank you for coming through, and thank you for your support as always. Hold on, do I have I might not have Squids. No, I don't. That's why I couldn't see your comment, because I don't have you. We're going to fix that, brother. We're going to fix that, good brother. YouTube live chat. We're going to get the live chat in here. And Squids is Cloud Dosage / PNTS's very own daily show aficionado with Chill Times with Squid. Definitely check that out over on Cloud Dosage Monday through Friday. Just go over to Cloud Dosage News, become a subscriber and become a member there too. I'm going to be coming back. If you're into cloud gaming, Amazon Luna, it's got a big boost because of an expansion. Squid's been one of the premier people on Amazon Luna. As we talk about Amazon Luna's really been pushing, and leaning on Ubisoft products as they should. Ubisoft is a great publisher to help usher in cloud gaming. Really, Squids was the first of us content creators really promoting Luna. No, he didn't do it in the form of a show or whatever. In his already consistent content, he was heavily promoting the show. That is my job, but guess what? They're calling from the 1-800 number, that's our support team over in Chennai. And they don't want nothing urgent because I'll only answer phone calls when it's my boss. If it's important, they'll get a hold of my boss, which I doubt is important. Because I think I know what it is. But anyway. So yeah, go check out Squids. Check him out over on Cloud Dosage News here on YouTube. And he's been really big up in Amazon Luna, and Amazon Luna has really leaned a lot on Ubisoft products. So definitely, if you're a fan of Ubisoft and you're interested, even if you're not a regular to cloud gaming, but you're interested to see what's going on over there, definitely shout out Squids. Check him out on Cloud Dosage News. And Squids here, I'm going to make you our very first honorary moderator for so Squids, if you can drop a link. Hold on, I made you the wrong type of moderator. I need to make you removes as standard moderator. I want to make you a managing moderator. There we go. All right. Okay. Do me a favor, Squids. Can you drop the link to your channel in the chat as well so people can check you out, check out your content? Squid plays a variety of things as well. All right. So I want to give my man his flowers because, people tend to neglect people their flowers. Like Squid was the first content creator really routinely talking about Amazon Luna when it wasn't the cool thing for us to do as cloud gamers. We were all stuck on Luna. I mean, we were all stuck on Stadia. Some people even was throwing in little sprinkles of GFN. Squid was on Luna. Was on Luna earlier on consistently, so shout out to Squid. With that being said, I don't like the and there goes his link. I don't like the I don't like the Summers Games Fest thing, not at all. And we'll get into that in the second half. But we got one more news story. And shout out to Squids. As soon as this link pops up, we're going to put it on there. All right. So that's the financials of Ubisoft. Very interesting stuff. So hopefully Ubisoft can start doing better. All right. Last but certainly not least. Oops, I didn't want to put that up there just yet. It looks like Ubisoft Plus is being rumored to be launching on Xbox this month. So let's give a quick synopsis on that. Ubisoft Plus is a subscription service that provides access to a vast library of Ubisoft games, will be coming to Xbox consoles in April, according to this rumor. The library of Ubisoft, the service was previously available on PlayStation. On PC, Google Stadia, Amazon Luna, the aforementioned Amazon Luna. But now Xbox players will be able to enjoy games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Watch Dogs for a monthly fee. The announcement was made by Xbox's head of games, Phil Spencer, during the Microsoft Bethesda E3 showcase. In addition to the standard Ubisoft Plus subscription, I guess they're claiming in the story that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, in particular, will have access to a premium service version of the service, which includes early access to new releases and downloadable content, DLC. That's interesting. This move strengthens the already robust offerings of Game Pass, which is becoming an increasingly popular service for gamers in recent years. So it sounds like that what's happening is, according to this leak, that there's going to be a tie-in, because these are going to be two separate subscription services. I want to make this abundantly clear. This comes to us from The Gamer, where The Gamer says Ubisoft Plus won't be a part of Xbox Game Pass. So let's make sure that we're not confused here. They're going to be two totally different subscription services, but the tie-in to prompt you to get both, it sounds like, according to this rumor, that if you get Ubisoft Plus and you happen to have Game Pass Ultimate as well, that what'll happen is that Game Pass Ultimate subscription will lead you to get more unlocked in Ubisoft Plus. Now, how much will Ubisoft Plus be on Xbox? I don't know. It would be smart if there's a bundle package, like you can get them both for $24.99 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Or if you get both for like $20, that would be awesome. But I'm thinking like $24.99 might land you both. We'll see. But it definitely is going to be interesting to see how Xbox handles this, opposed to what PlayStation did, which PlayStation went and just roped in some games called the Ubisoft Plus Classics. Let me see if I can find a list of those. Yeah. So these are there's like the Ubisoft Plus Classics that go automatically into PlayStation Premium, I believe it is, which is the highest tier you can get of PlayStation subscription service. And these games are added in there, and it seems like that more and more games are added each month, or not added each month, but added periodically to the subscription service. So very interesting stuff to see, and I'm happy to see it myself. All right, so let's do this. Let me, oops, that's the pause screen. What the hell? Why we got the pause screen up? Let me do this. Let me add, I want to make sure that you guys see this. This is Squid's channel, which is youtube.com/Squids with 3 Z's at the end, SQUIDZZZ. Make sure you go check that out. All right. Now, what do I think about this? I think it's cool. The more the merrier. Anything to help Ubisoft Plus gain traction. I think it's a great service. It's my favorite service. Like, I'm subscribed to Game Pass, but that's only because I test a lot of games. And the games that I test require me to go and have PlayStation Plus and have Game Pass at times. Like, and they're not going to pay for it for me. So I kind of already have it. So because of that, I have Game Pass, but I rarely use it. Like, I can't remember the last time I used Game Pass, to be honest with you. I think it was like early 2022. Like, when's the last? No. I had a, no, I shouldn't be bringing up tests, because that's not me using it. That's me, having to use. That's a forced situation. The last time I personally used Game Pass was for the gunk. No. I'm lying. When Fortnite came to Game Pass, I think in the summer, in June of 2022, that's when I used it. I was impressed with the performance of Fortnite. but that was on the beta. I didn't even need, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I kind of use it, but I didn't. The last time I used a paid version was the gunk. I'm not real big on Game Pass, because they don't really have anything I want to play that I'm interested in. I do, however, want to play Starfield, but I won't be playing that. Trust me. I won't be playing Starfield via Game Pass. I'll be playing it through NVIDIA GeForce Now, hopefully. Hopefully what Xbox does is they will get these games on the platform and we can play them there, and that'll be great. So I prefer Ubisoft Plus. That's my preferred subscription service. I'm embedded in others. I'm in PlayStation Essential, Amazon Luna. That's it. As far as subscription services are concerned, Ubisoft Plus is my favorite. Gives me the most value. I will be honest with you. Most of the Ubisoft games, because I play a lot of them, this has become a significant value for me. It has saved me a lot of money for the price of, what is it? 100. Hold on, let's do the math. So the service is like $16 a month when you include taxes, times 12, that's $192. So that's a little bit over the price of 3 games. So for the price of 3 games, I get access to 3 games a year. I get access to all of the Ubisoft releases each year. Now in a year like last year, maybe not so big, but because Ubisoft really only had 2 AAA releases last year. But in a year like the one before, it was huge. You know what I mean? So I love having Ubisoft Plus. It's great, saved me a lot of money. So good to see it coming to Xbox. All right. With that said, my friends, I think it's now time for our main story. And our main story is coming out of what I just talked about earlier, which was E3 being ditched by so many companies, including Ubisoft. So I want to give you a synopsis of our big story. I'll give you my take, and then I'm going to answer some questions, and then we'll close out. So Ubisoft, one of the largest video game publishers in the world, had initially committed to E3 2023, but later decided to back out. The reason for their withdrawal from the event is unclear. I mean, some people have cited the pandemic or whatever, but experts speculate that it could be due to declining interest in the conference in recent years. Another potential reason is the ongoing pandemic, which has forced many companies to shift towards online events instead of in-person conferences. An E3 style show format, however, in Ubisoft's case, is way better than Summer Games Fest because it holds publishers like Ubisoft more accountable if they have a bad show. At E3, all eyes are on publishers during their press conferences, and they know that they have to bring their A game in order to impress the audience and generate buzz. If they do that, if they don't do that, if they fail to do that, the focus is on them. However, Summer Game Fest allows for more flexibility and creativity in the presentation of the game, which can result in a lack of consistency and structure. And this lack of structure can make it difficult to assess the success or failure of a publisher's presentation, mainly in large part because you are looking at the publisher You're looking at Summer's Game Fest. You're looking at Jeff Keighley and saying, oh man, you and these guys collectively have put together a bad show. You're not looking at the individual parts and pretty much focused on them and saying, look, your presentation was bad. You're looking at the whole collective. Oh, this event that y'all put together to show us games sucks. And that's what the ambiance of where the blame goes is the problem. The problem is the way Summer Games Fest is created. It has a face behind it. The face is Jeff Keighley. And the ambiance around it is Jeff Keighley is going to put together a series of presentations so you can sit there and enjoy showcases of games. No! The way E3's ambiance is structured is, hey, I need to sell you my games, or I need to sell you my platform. We are going to show you, and we have a big moment coming up, which is the holiday season. It's our biggest season. So therefore, I got to show you why you need to get excited for my games this holiday season or in the next few months. Come on to the showcase. Come and watch us deliver to you why we think that you need to embrace our products and services. The host of that show, the ESA, are faceless. Some people don't even realize that the ESA hosts the show. So therefore, the focus is on the individual presenter, not Jeff Keighley. It doesn't have the friendliest ambiance of let's just come and witness some games. It's like, no, I'm trying to sell you something, and it's imperative because we're the holiday season is coming up. It's imperative that you like what you see. So I got to put something together for you to get you excited. That's different than me and these other gamers are going to show you some stuff, and I might show you something cool or whatever, but the onus isn't on me to show you that I'm really working. You're going to be focused on, was this a great presentation overall? That's the problem that skipping E3 for Summer's Game Fest, that's the problem that creates. And Ubisoft is the last people that can deal with that. I would say between Ubisoft and Square Enix, because Square Enix is seeing some problems too. So that's why I don't like them dumping E3 for Summer Games Fest. Ubisoft, again, just off the financials that we were discussing and I showed you, Ubisoft has to get itself out of a rut. Ubisoft has to have some type of outside auditing system to keep them accountable. And I think the lack of an E3 the last few years has hurt them. Having these showcases, don't do it. And E3 has gone to these showcases, and I think it's hurt them, or have done these showcases in a while, and it's hurt them. Now, the big question is, why are people ditching? It ain't just Ubisoft. Why are these publishers ditching E3? And they're going to be part of the Summer's Game Fest. Well, E3, the way E3 is structured is, it's a wholesale trading ground. It was something that the ESRA created to help platform holders meet platform holders and game developers meet with retailers. So if you work for a company and they have a convention every year and they're meeting with vendors or business partners or whatever, that's the purpose. That convention gets those business partners together and magic is made, for the holiday season. So that's why a lot of conventions are in the summer. That's the same thing. That's what E3 represented. E3 represented an opportunity to get developers and publishers in front of retailers, because you got to sell your game somewhere, right? And it was all the more important that the scope was put on the individual presenters opposed to the show overall. It was important for that to happen because you got these retailers here, and these retailers are coming to get, they're kind of like, I don't know, science fair judges or whatever. And they're coming to look at the reaction of consumers. So that's why it was important for consumers and or journalists to be there. They were looking at the engagement that was happening in the stands from your presentation. And so if you go show me Doom, for instance, the reboot of Doom, and I see that everybody's cheering and crying and clapping for your product, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on Doom, then I'm like, holy smack, Doom could sell a lot out of our store. So if I'm a Walmart, I'm sitting there negotiating a deal and say, look, man, this could be a great deal for all of us. We could push so many units. We're going to get 3 times the amount of copies of Dooms in our store. Let's negotiate this price. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what I want to hear as a developer / publisher, because my money is made when you buy my game, retailer. Now, of course, I want the games to fly off their shelves, so you buy more from me. But if I can wow you and get you to at least commit to that first batch, then we're in a pretty good spot. Right? And the thing about games is that you can't just necessarily buy a game, oh, I don't like this, and return it. You're stuck with it if it's a physical copy. So that makes the deal all more lucrative for a publisher or developer, for a store to sit there and see the reaction to said game, and them be like, I want to push 100,000 copies of that. Or I want to push 3 million of that, whatever, right? That negotiated first batch price is automatic money, right? So that's what E3 was for in the beginning. It was mainly to get publishers, developers, and retail holders together to network. And the thing that made it worth the retail people's while was the reaction that was created from the journalists, who were very critical of these games, and from the crowd. So they're paying attention to all this, and this is what helps sells games. Now that we're more in the digital age, this is where the digital age really kind of messes up certain things. Or I don't want to say messes up, but kind of changes the dynamic in a negative way if we don't find a rebound, a second recourse to fix it. Now, because things are more digital, it's not about me coming to you and getting so many physical copies as bad as it was before, because now more and more digital copies are being sold. And I'm not striking these multi, bundle deals to get so many of your copies. You still do, but it's not as heavy as it used to be because a lot of things are being sold digitally. So basically what I do is I just negotiate with the platform holder, right, of said game. Let me get, it's more negotiation with the platform holders than there is the game sellers, because then you got to go and gauge, okay, well, who's going to buy what on what platform? So what ends up happening is if I'm a retail company, I still want to have enough supply to meet demand, especially if a game is going to be big. But more so than that, I'm bypassing you. Like, say if Cyberpunk 2 comes out and we feel like Cyberpunk 2 is going to sell 20 million its first week, and we could be a big pusher of that, and 10 million of that is going to be on PlayStation, and 5 million is going to be on Xbox, and 5 is going to be on PC. I'm just throwing out random numbers here. I don't need to negotiate so many units with you. I'll just go and negotiate a reasonable amount of physical copies with you. You know what I'm saying? But what I really need to do is go and negotiate a deal with PlayStation and Xbox and Steam and say, yo, how many of your gift cards are you going to let me sell? And then I'm going to start negotiating with them and running specials on the gift cards. Like if you go to Target always be running crazy specials on gift cards. They've gotten out of this battle with Walmart. It feels like, they still have games there, but they've gotten more out of the battle with Walmart as far as who's going to sell more video games, because them and Walmart used to battle back and forth and who's going to shave 5 cents off the game versus this one or whatever. And what Target is doing now is Target is constantly running specials on video game gift cards. Why? Because everything is being sold digitally now. And then when it comes down to PlayStation, and PlayStation is the leading seller on consoles. That's really the name of the game. So if I feel like that there's going to be X amount of Call of Duty, Cyberpunk 2 sold, of course I'm going to go to CD Projekt Red and negotiate a decent number of physical copies. But my bigger concern is simply going to Sony or Xbox and negotiating the right price for gift cards or digital codes. If there's digital codes for PlayStation, there really ain't no digital codes anymore. So because of that, the whole purpose that made it lucrative for these game platforms and publishers to come to E3, spend millions of dollars and give to the ESRA, who was hosting it, because the ESRA was making bank on this, to go spend $8 million for a booth, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money to a PlayStation or an Xbox to spend $8 million. But when you have a pandemic, you got to save everywhere you can. And if you think about it, if after I've saved that $8 million that I was spending to get that booth, If I'm really, after I saved it, after I saved that money, and I come and find out that your platform really isn't endemic to my survival anymore, it's not really helping my growth, then why am I paying you $8 million to showcase some games that I can showcase any other way? Because me coming there, paying you $8 million, showcasing these games, we went through that sacrifice because that retailer, publisher, platformer, developer, meeting of the minds, that was that was quintessential to the success of my platform. It's not anymore. That's why people are pulling out of E3. It makes sense. It makes sense. The problem is that whole setup kept game development and game development transparency honest the best way we know how to gamers. So we as gamers are losing out. And when I hear people say, we don't need E3 anymore, I cringe, because now you're thinking like the logo that you prefer. Like PlayStation fans say they don't need E3 because the last few E3s, PlayStation has come and they have crapped the bed. Now the games end up being a lot better than they showcased at E3, but they had bad presentations. So that's why that's a big reason why PlayStation was pulling out, along with the money. Xbox is pulling out is because even though E3, Xbox was able to get people excited for Microsoft products, buy the controllers and all, and do all this stuff, and E3 was at the center of that. As soon as they showcased E3 and they bombed, all that would deflate and it would show in NPD. So they're like, this really isn't, there's growing anticipation in the latter part of the year, but it's not really doing anything else for us in the end of the year. And again, because all eyes are on us, individually, when we do these showcases at E3, this only hurts us when it comes to the holiday buying season. So you couple that with the fact that, again, it's not essential for us. Why are we here? I get it. Hold on one second. The problem with that theory, when I hear gamers say, who cares, is, sorry for the mic hits. The problem with that theory is when gamers say, well, who cares? They don't need E3. Yeah, they don't need it, but you do. And what ends up happening is now they're not being held accountable. So if they have a bad showcase, like, it just becomes fodder. It becomes Twitter fodder for about a week, and then that's it. Because now they can show you, they can drop something at any time and change your mind. So now because there's no standard of you got to show us your best and you got to show it at this point in time. Because there's no standard of transparency, people are like, oh, well, I mean, anything can drop at any given moment. And then when the year ends up fading, where they don't drop anything, then people are like, well, you know, they're left explaining it after the fact, opposed to where if there was an industry standard that this time, around this time every year, you got to put something together and you got to show consumers what you are up to. Like, what can they look forward to at the end of the year or in the future? Something that you work, you got to do it. Because if you don't do it and you decide not to show up here, you're not going to garner excitement that is going to translate to these retailers, and you're not going to sell your product or get enough of your product. Deals with retailers for your product are not going to exist the way you need them to. Without that sense of urgency, they can just say, oh, well, they can say things like what we're hearing from PlayStation. Oh, we got 26 games in development. Well, what are they? Or you can hear what you hear from Xbox, where, oh, we were supposed to have Starfield in 2022. We pushed everything back. And you're sitting there waiting. Like, you don't go and spend the money that you spend at E3. You don't go and give the presentations that you got to give and get people engrossed into your product or service, and then just be so whimsical with the dates. You're not that, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, it forced E3, because of its strict guardrails, forced people to be more transparent. And I don't know if we're ever going to get that transparency back. Because what happens with shows like Summer Games Fest is the focus is on the Games Fest. There's not that scrutiny. There's not that sit down and interviews with different, providers and interviewers. There's really not the kicking of the tires that happens at E3. There's just, we're going to show you some games. It's not about just showing games. I loathe that approach. I want to see quality. I want to see what people are working on. And I want to make sure that companies like PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft are operating at some standard of transparency where they're going to show me what they're doing, along with providing something that I really want. Instead of me sitting around playing this guessing game. Now we're in this era of where it's a guessing game. And we're really missing that transparency. So what does that mean for Ubisoft? Ubisoft, they need to start moving. They got to start jumping people out of shoes and socks. They already got me. I like their stuff, but if there were enough of me, they wouldn't be seeing the financial woes that we showed here, this financial inconsistency that we showed here. And when I say here, I probably need to show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. We wouldn't, if there was enough MM2Ks in the world, then to hell, they wouldn't need an E3, but they do. They need it. They need like an outside auditing force to keep them honest. Keep them from going in the weeds too much. Keep them from having years like they did with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I think Ghost Recon Breakpoint, if it would have launched a year later, would have been a totally different and better experience. But I felt like they had to rush it because they, a lot of other things got pushed back and wasn't ready for 18 or 9, I can't remember. And so they said, well, we can make something out of this Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And after some time, I mean, it was a great experience. The core mechanics were fantastic, but it was too repetitive and needed a little bit more. Longevity wise, it was too repetitive. But the problem is that now you don't have a system that's going to keep you honest. Because now we're like, oh, well, these companies don't need it. They don't need it, but we do. So if I'm Ubisoft, I'm recognizing what my faults are. I'm going to embrace the criticism the professional criticism I get. And I'm going to go to future E3s. Or partner with somebody. Maybe you don't spend $8 million for a booth, especially if you're these guys and your net worth earnings is $79 million. Maybe you don't spend $8 million. Maybe what you do is you partner with somebody to have, Ubisoft Fest. That's what you do. Kind of like, what's that, BlizzCon or something like that. You have UbiCon. I think there should be like an UbiCon. Because now the focus is on you. And you have to produce. Like what those BlizzCons and stuff like that. Them folks gotta produce. There's people flying in all over the place to say, yes. So maybe that's what you do. Maybe, you do it a month early, you do it a month after the Summer's Games Fest. You have UbiCon. There should be like, now that I think about it, when I see platforms like Activision Blizzard, Bethesda, like let me do something here. Top revenue game companies. Okay. So what year is this from? Oh, this is 2022. Awesome. Let's put this on the screen. Top 20 story continues. Oh, crap. Okay, I don't like that. More items. Damn it. Crap. I like the list format better. Let's try this. Even though I did like that list, I'm gonna try this. Okay. So here we go. This is publicly traded by companies by revenue. That's fine, whatever. Ubisoft isn't up here. Okay, they're 21 because this is a different type of list. Maybe I can find a better list. Hold on. Copy, link address. This is another Statista. Maybe they're probably not going to let me see it. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Okay, cool. This is the biggest video game companies in the world, 2023 statistics. And I don't care about the natural order, but I just want to have all the big games people here. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So Sony and Microsoft should definitely have There should be a Sony con, a Microsoft con, and a Nintendo con every year. And I get that there's like the mic, like, to give Xbox credit, because they have a crazy fandom. To give Xbox credit, they do have events and people can come and visit them. They do have that. But these are, how can I say? It's great that they're doing it. I give them credit. And it's always going to benefit them. The problem with Microsoft's events is its fandom. How can I say this? Again, these events turn into pure fandom. Very little scrutiny while there. And I think there's nothing wrong with having a fan event. But because of the dynamic of the Microsoft fan base, because like with BlizzCon and all these other events, they're fan events. But they're also scrutinized. Like, these fans come to scrutinize, like, you better show us something awesome. So if something isn't considered awesome by the fandom who've put heavy expectations on these, conventions, like, they're more critical than the average gamer. Like, the average gamer may see something and may say, oh, that looks cool, where the BlizzCon fandom will say, oh, hell no, that's horrible, right? The Xbox fandom doesn't alone produce the type of scrutiny that we want to see from a con alone. So, but I'm not saying that the Microsoft fandom convention should go away. I think those are great events. If you're a super fan of Xbox and they got an event for it, that's kudos. That's smart, and I think it's good. And really, I would urge that Sony and Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo do the same thing. It'd be a great event. Those fandom events are great. However, there needs to be a con event for all scrutinizing fans that are critical. Bring media in too. We're like, we got to show you the best of the best, and we got to get you hyped. And it ain't no Phil Spencer standing on the stage, or even Jim Ryan at that saying, oh, I hope that they like this. No, you better know in your hearts that this is dope. That's what happens at the BlizzCons or whatever. So I look at these other companies. And yes, Activision Blizzard is the biggest publisher. But BlizzCon was happening before Activision absorbed them, right? Where's the EA con? Where's the Epic con? Where's the Take-Two con? Where's the Ubisoft con? Where's the Bandai Namco? You know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe Bandai Namco, because they're out of Japan, maybe they do have something there in Japan. Maybe it's a fandom thing. I don't know if it's a scrutinizing thing. I've never heard of it. But they need to have something. So if you're going to ditch E3, there needs to be some type of convention centered around your platform, your product, or your service, where that same E3 style scrutiny is there. So you not paying $8 million for a booth to do something that's outdated, that's like dinosaur-like, I have no problem with that. I just don't like that you were able to rope in the scrutiny that was so important, and that you're able to bypass that. And Ubisoft, despite what your other friends are doing, I think because of your position and how things aren't working right the way that you want them to do, losing 124 million there, right? In net revenue, not gross, net revenue. I think that you need to look at what Activision Blizzard is doing, or Blizzard with BlizzCon, and say, we need to be on that level. Our game studios need to be at that level. Like Bethesda's not even up here. I mean, they're part of Microsoft now. I wonder if Bethesda would have been up here. Probably not. They probably would have been up here. Let me see. Top revenue game companies. Let's go 2018. No. Top 25 public game companies. Let's do this. Let's try this link. Okay, where's the top 20? How come people allergic to lists? People seem to be allergic to lists. Can we have the top 25? Where's the lists at? Oh, my dear Lord. Oh, my God. Like, all I'm trying to find is company 1, company 2. Top 25 game companies. Okay, it says here or, okay, let's see. Golly, I couldn't work at these companies. I'd have to, somebody wouldn't make it out alive. Oh my God. So they don't have a list either. Nice. Can you game? Oh God. Come on, man. All right, I'm sorry. We're gonna get there. I want to find this out because this is very important. We're gonna find this out. Did I say by revenue? 2018, man. 2018. Jesus Christ. We're gonna find them. Ooh, tab. We're gonna find them. I promise you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Newzoo, I think, got us. No, they don't. Oh God. I don't want the whole report. You can't. Okay. All right. I thought Newzoo had us. They don't. Top 20. I'm gonna put 20 video game companies by revenue. I'm getting there. Now let's do this. Let's get out of here by revenue. You know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to take this time to say this. Google sucks. Like Google search sucks. And I'm all for, I hate Bing. I'm not a big Microsoft product fan, but I'm all for Microsoft using Bing to merge with ChatGPT and coming up with a product that'll probably overthrow Google search. Google sucks. They've been sitting on their laurels for too long. And the only thing that they were consistently good at or reliable on was their search engine. They've now let that go to the wayside. Something needs to happen to get rid of that core of leadership because they just aren't producing anymore. Opposite of an iPhone, opposite of a phone and a Chromebook, that's it. That's the only thing that they've been able to do. And I don't want top 10. I know there's a top 20 list. Top gaming companies, market value. Top 20 video games. Oh, God. We're going to find it. 15 largest gaming companies in the world. Okay. Price. Top earning video game companies 2018. Screw it. Let's do 2017. Because 2018 is only giving me the stupid report. All right, let's do this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why can't anybody produce a list that'll be easy for me to show my viewers? What is wrong with people? I wish that I could work with you guys so I could fire all of you. You guys are horrible. You guys are horrible at how you disseminate data. The top 20. Can I put 20 in here now? Because I am getting lists, but they're only 10. So far. Okay, let's see that. Let's try that. Can we get a list? There we go. Holy schmackle. This was extremely absurd that it took me this long to get something like this, something comprehensive. Publishers and y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You guys suck. Or it probably isn't their fault. It's probably Google. Google doesn't understand how to disseminate web pages based upon what you ask for. They take a little snippet of what you're asking for, not the full context, and they try to give you something that was looked at the most. When 9 times out of 10, if I'm searching multiple pages, what is the most looked at thing I'm not looking for? I'm looking for something deeper. Here goes the top 25. Lord Jesus Christ. Can I pop that out? Okay. And that's in full screen. All right. Jeez Louise. That was rough, man. All right. So this is only so far. This isn't the complete list of 2017, but we're going to rock with it. All right. So Bethesda isn't even on here, and I've been looking at lists and I don't see Bethesda on there at all. So I don't know why Bethesda was acquired for $7 billion when I don't even see them on any list at all. That being said, all of these companies that are on this list that work to create games yearly, like Square Enix, there should be a SquareCon, Take-Two Con, or 2K Con, Bandai Namco. It's crazy. Electronic art. It's insanity to me that when these companies don't make themselves available to the gamers at a transparent and consistent level, that they're allowed to get away with it. And we're doing it under the realms of fandom. Yeah, my favorite logo, they didn't look good at E3. So I'm going to just trust them. Now, that's not good enough for anybody. And it's definitely not good enough for Ubisoft. Ubisoft barely makes top 10 one moment, under top 10 the next moment. I think, and then let's look at fiscal 2017. Okay, they were 14th in fiscal 2016-17. And what would have been their fiscal, so far. Like, that's what Ubisoft needs to do. Look at Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard has consistently been top 3, top 4 for a long time. Ubisoft needs to say, we want to be on that level. And success mimics success. So if you want to truly be on that level, what you need to do is you need to start having a con. Well, we don't have the content to have a con. Aha. You know what I'm saying? Aha. Because a showcase is different from a con. And what E3 essentially was an accumulation of a bunch of little cons. Now, let me fix this a little bit. Oh, come on. That's what E3 was. E3 was essentially a bunch of little cons wrapped into one, big showcase, or not showcase, but one big showing for a week. That's what E3 did. E3 was a bunch of little cons. That's why you really didn't see Blizzard at BlizzCon, you know what I'm saying? Blizzard at E3, because they were saving their stuff for BlizzCon. So fine, if you want to get rid of E3, because E3 in a lot of ways at its core is not essential to the growth in the systemic or the systemic growth of these platforms, fine, get rid of it or revamp, do something. But we need to hold these companies accountable, and we're not doing so with showcases. That's just helping people like Geoff or Jeff Keighley say, I got a bunch of people together, they're just going to show you some games. That still leaves things aloof, gamers aloof, and it still doesn't help out with a lot. All right. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to take a 10-minute timeout, and then I'm going to go directly into, what do you call it? We're going to get into our main topic. We're not even in our main topic yet. Can you believe it? Let me just set it for 12. Let's take a timeout, and then we're going to get into that topic when I come back. All right. All right. So we're back. We're not going to spend the whole 10 minutes. Let's get rid of this. All right. So we're still talking about E3 being ditched. I went over in entirety why I have an issue with not just E3 being ditched by these companies, but more so because this is an Ubisoft show. Why I didn't like it from Ubisoft. Ubisoft needs accountability. Again, if you weren't here on the other side of this break, let's just take you back to show you something here. Let's see. Let's go back. Open web. This is Ubisoft's financial track since fiscal year 2004. It's all over the place. Yeah, there's some serious highs, but there's some serious lows. And this is net income. This is net revenue, meaning after the bills are paid, like their earnings are like 2 billion. It's usually around 2 billion. But after the bills are paid, this is what they got left. This is revenue. Okay. We're talking about out of $2 billion that are being made. They spend $2 billion. I mean, no, they don't spend $2 billion. They spend, Jesus Christ. They spend $2.2 billion essentially to make $2.3 billion. That's where Ubisoft is at right now. Again, they spend $2.2 billion to make $2.3 billion. And look, for all intents and purposes, Activision Blizzard, opposite of King, they make as many titles. No. King, and I would say Ubisoft's mobile, don't they have a mobile stint or whatever? They're producing around the same amount of games, I think, or same amount of money. Like Call of Duty, well, no, the mobile stint is making a lot of money. When did they buy King? Let me get a question answered here. When did? Let's see here. When did Activision Blizzard buy King? It was February 2016. Okay, so this is the King Prominence. This is Activision Blizzard for $5.9 billion. All right, so that was in 2016. So let me do something here. Let me look for net income, top 25 companies, top 20 game companies. Let's do 2015. Let's do 2015. Top 20 game companies 2015. Let's see. Everybody want to do top 10. Let's see. Can we get top 20 game companies? Keep looking. I don't want mobile. Top. No. Where the frick did mobile come from? Top. Oh my gosh. Top. This is why I say Google search is mud now. Top gaming companies 2015. Publisher rankings. Okay, I'll go with that. Publisher rankings. No, I don't want publisher rankings because that's just Metacritic. See if we can find it. 15 most valuable game companies in the world. We cannot find anything about And that just amazes me. Let's see. Golly. Top 10. Let's do this. Top 10, top 12 online. Okay, maybe I don't get top 10. Top 10 gaming companies in 2015. All right, here we go. I don't know why they're so focused on just 10. The top 10 gaming companies. Oh my God. And they still don't have a list. More items. This is horrible. Horrible journalism. Gaming journalism sucks. It really does. Gaming journalism sucks. Can we get the biggest top 10 games? No, we want the holy cow. Top 10 public companies by game revenues 2016. Why can't we get that in 2015? Oh my dear Lord. Oh my, gaming journalism. This is horrible. That I can't pull this up. Top 10 startups? I don't care about that. Oh my dear. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do top 10 gaming companies. And then I'm going to limit out, I'm going to filter out anything before wow. So I can't do nothing custom. Oh my God. What's the name? Sucks, bro. Okay, anytime. Custom range. Let's do all the way to, I'm gonna say 06, 01, 2016. By then they should have this report out. Top public video game companies by revenue. This is by Newzoo. And okay, that's not right one because they're not gonna let me look at that one. Top 10 video game companies of all time. Listing of top gaming companies. This is a 2011 report. I don't even know what this is. This must be mobile. Top 10 game publishers. Top 10 most popular. Who's the top 10 gaming companies? This is 2015. Okay. Here goes a report from Newzoo. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This is the best we're going to get from the sucky news media, gaming news media that don't know how to have comprehensive reporting. So, in 2014, the top 10 companies are Tencent, Sony, Microsoft, EA, Activision Blizzard, Google, King, Nintendo, and Ubisoft. So Ubisoft is consistently up here in the top 10, maybe top 15, right? Why don't they have a con? Right? Why don't they have a gamer con? Why aren't they consistently held to a standard of, look, you guys and Ubisoft creates so many games, and the reason why I wanted to go this far back is because I didn't want the purchase of King Games, which is separate here. I didn't want the purchase of King Games to kind of overbloat Activision Blizzard's worth. Like Activision Blizzard's worth is still $4.4 billion. Right? Activision's Blizzard's worth was $4.4 billion in fiscal year 2014. Right? If you want to get out of your rut, Ubisoft, financially, what you have to do is success mimics success, particularly in the business world. What you have to do is you got to look at, I would say, Activision Blizzard, who's now higher than EA. Look at them and say, what do these guys do? And the Blizzard wing has a con. Where's your Clancy con? Why don't you have a Tom Clancy con? That helps. If you want, Ubisoft talk about having this Clancy verse, which I'm all for. Okay, but if you want to have that, have a Clancy con where your Tom Clancy output is being scrutinized by your fans, and let you having to perform top-notch content for your fans. Let that be a motivator to you hiring the best developers, creating having the best directors, creating the best games out there. Like, you have enough lore and content in your stuff to where you should have a con. The Tom Clancy con. Why don't you have a Clancy con? If you really want this Clancy this is what I'm saying. I appreciate Ubisoft games, but me as an appreciator of Ubisoft games, I understand what has to be done. And take it from, maybe it's because of my management pedigree. I can like you, I can enjoy, like I love my employees. They make me laugh. They would buy me stuff all the time. We love working with each other. But at the end of the day, it's still my job to evaluate what you're doing. It's my job to evaluate what you're doing and let you know if it's up to snuff. And as a fan of Ubisoft products, when it comes to marketing and getting people excited for their products globally, like they consistently stay in the top 10. So I don't think they're going away anytime soon, but they're not seeing the growth that they need to see. They're still lingering in this $2 billion realm. And we just looked at it. They spend $2.2 billion now to make $2.3 billion. That's not enough. Y'all need to really put yourselves in a situation where the scrutiny can come from the outside. It forces you to be a little bit more transparent, and it forces you to stand up to task to people's expectations in a more well-rounded fashion. When you do that, then you can sit there and simultaneously say, we are aiming for the top. Look at Activision Blizzard. That's where we want to be. Let's get there. And you start taking your ideas and the things in your philosophies, and you start churning them out in a way that works, that gets you closer and closer to where Activision Blizzard is at. And hell, if you can get to where Activision Blizzard was at in 2015, that's a success. Before they acquired King, they were bringing in $4.4 billion a year. You need to do more to get there. And that requires transparency. And what better transparency there is than put your games out there, put some of your biggest, your most important games, put them out there and say, look, this is what we're bringing you. Tell us what you think. You can't afford to keep stuff close to the vest. You can't afford that. So that's why I don't like this move from E3 to the Summer Games Fest, because the Summer Games Fest is for all intents and purposes, as cool as the idea is, it really doesn't hold these platform holders accountable. Yeah, they'll say, oh yeah, did you see that show? It sucked or whatever. If we get something great, yeah, it's gonna get. Oh man, did you really see that Ubisoft game? Yeah, only the positive stuff will get blasted anywhere. But when you fall, when you don't hit the mark, it doesn't have enough sting to force you to create that sense of urgency, to force you to do better. It just doesn't. They look at the show overall and they say, oh, well, yeah, I like that part of the show, but it's all about the show. Jeff Keighley, Summer Games Fest, and patting him on the back. Thanks for getting these people together. It's bigger than that. There's got to be a level of accountability. And I'm not against Jeff having the show. I just don't think it should be a replacement for E3. I think E3 did something far more monumental and essential for gamers than what he's offering. If I go to a restaurant that I've never been to and I'm concerned, I'm like, I wonder how good their food tastes. I mean, this is expensive, a lot of money. And there's 2 shows coming on TV, and this restaurant that I'm interested in happens to be on both shows. Am I going to watch the show that has a food tasting critic on it? Or am I going to watch the show that's labeled, we enjoy food. Look at this sample tray of all this food. Let's eat some and just tell you why we enjoy food so much. Now, both shows are showcasing trays and foods and probably the same stuff from the same restaurant. They're included in both shows. One is giving you a generalized look at food in general and in a celebratory fashion. The other one is giving you a critical view of this restaurant to let you know if it's worth your while. Now, ultimately, you got to taste it yourself, you know what I'm saying? But you get a better peer and a more critical look into what's coming with the first show than you do the show that's just celebratory of food in general. Summer Games Fest is is a celebratory event of games in general. E3 is the critical, food tasting event that is reminiscent of what you get from cons, from BlizzCon and so forth. Yes, a fan affair, but these are critical fans, scrutinizing fans. And if we don't get that same level of scrutiny from the Games Fest, then the Games Fest cannot replace E3. It is not a substantive replacement of what E3 presented. So, as much as I appreciate what Jeff Keighley is doing, it doesn't fill the gap. We need more. And Ubisoft, you need more. Of anybody that needs someone to hold your feet to the fire so you do better, it's you. You're not going to do E3 fine, but you better be working on some type of con. And I would start off with the Clancyverse. That's where you get most of your criticism from, is the Clancyverse. Now, granted, Far Cry get some criticism, Assassin's Creed may get some here and there, but you can work on those individually. The games that get the most criticism right now are the Clancyverse games. Create a system to where they're brought back into the hierarchy of fandom of praise that they belong. All right. And that's it for a big topic. Let's do this. There's a couple of questions that we got off the internet. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to answer those questions, and then we're going to close shop. And if you have any questions for us in the chat, feel free to let us know. And I'll answer those live on air as well. So one of the questions that we saw is, will Ubisoft's decision to withdraw, or better yet, has Ubisoft's decision to withdraw from E3 ultimately lead to the closure of the reputation of E3 and the closure of 2023? Yeah, when E3, when Ubisoft first promised to show up and then they decided to pull back, I think that sent ripples. Because if there's any company that needs an E3 or a presentation to help restore its reputation, like I think people were questioning, is Ubisoft going to even show anything at all? And so it was discovered that they were. Okay, great. And they're going to do it at E3. And we all know that E3 is a tougher venue than Summer's Game Fest to be at. There's a lot more scrutiny that's going to happen. So Ubisoft deciding to be at E3, especially when everybody else was pulling out, was definitely going to, put a lot of eyes on them, a lot of scrutiny on them. And so when they pulled out, they sent a signal to everybody else that, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth honoring what we said we were going to do. Instead, what it seems like to me, and it hurts me to say this, is that they couldn't handle the pressure. They couldn't handle the pressure of maybe them being the biggest or of the biggest presenters in that forum. And so that makes me worried about what they're about to put out there. Because, yeah, you can get away with having something lackluster or lukewarm at a showcase. Oh, that's just the part that we'll gloss over. But it's going to be more compound if it's at E3. And that just tells me you're not ready. So you've been doing a lot of talking. Oh, yeah, we've learned from our mistakes and we're going to do this. And the Clancy verse, you've done a lot of talking. Doesn't seem like it's leading to anything. Question 2. What benefits does Summer Game Fest offer to Ubisoft that E3 cannot provide? Escape. Escape from scrutiny. That's it. Escape from scrutiny. And to be fair, I would assume lower costs. Lower costs, but more importantly for Ubisoft, escape from scrutiny. I mean, yes, can people say Ubisoft was lukewarm? But again, it's under the microcosm of the entire show. So the scrutiny will only be, well, we didn't expect much from Ubisoft anyway, opposed to where you go to a more critical forum and you say, look, we're here and we got something to show you. So that's it. That's the only benefit. That doesn't benefit us gamers at all. Last question. How will Ubisoft ensure that their Summer Games Fest presentation will meet the expectation of their fans and the gaming community at large, given the lack of accountability that even comes with this format? How can they turn lemons into lemonade? That is a great question. Look, they have to show some stuff, some AAA stuff that we weren't expecting. And it has to be great. And really, I think their easiest path to success, even if they are building on something, but they need more time, the easiest path to success is twofold. Or two totally different things. I don't want to say twofold, because that means that you need both. Two separate things. Number one, show the status of Splinter Cell and make it look good. Show the status of Splinter Cell, make it look good. Secondly, show Jesus Christ, surprise us with Beyond Good and Evil. You're not going to do it with Assassin's Creed. Okay. Look, X Defiant. You can have people play it and get some people to talk about it. But again, there's not that critical part of it where people are actually playing a game and then they're giving you that assessment. This is just a showcase, right? The only thing you can do again is those are your easiest ways to success. Show Heartlands is another thing that you could do. But what I would do is whatever's dropping soon that you know is going to work, be confident enough to get some people in front of it, get them to play it. And during this week of Summer Games Fest, what you have to do is whatever your showcase is, fine, have it. Make the stuff look good. But for the stuff that is coming out in 2023, not only make it look good, but get it in front of people. Get it in front of people and ensure that you knock their socks off so they can run their mouths about how great the experience was with your game, with the portion that they played. So yeah, you're going to have to follow up your showcase, not with some scripted, thing that you guys like to do and have music playing in the background. You're going to have to get real authentic journos or whoever, critics or content creators, not just in a positive way, let them be authentic and be real, but you got to do your job to make sure that what they're getting their hands on is that great, plays and feels that well, that they do nothing but pray. Oh, you guys are going to want to play this X Defiant. Oh, I can't wait till you guys play this Division Heartlands. Oh man, this, that, and the third. That's what you have to do. So in order for this Summer Games Fest to really knock the socks off, not only do you have to show something that looks interesting, make it look good in the showcase, but after the showcase, you're going to have to get your product in front of people's hands, let them scrutinize it, and then ensure that they walk away like overjoyed. And that's what they reciprocate or cascade down to us gamers. Without that, again, it's going to lack the scrutiny that you're going to need to help boost you up and ensure people that, okay, Ubisoft is turning a new leaf. All right. As far as global acceptance. All right. With that said, that is it for our show. Very long show today. Part of it because we had to take a break. But I hope you enjoyed it. And a lot of it is because I was bloviating and saying a bunch of stuff. I've been off the mic for a week. All right. So give me about a half an hour, maybe not that long. Let me set up my Division 2 stream on Kick. Here is the join us on Kick shortly. Join. Okay. I'll do it like this. Follow and join us on Kick shortly. And let's do it like this. kick.com/MM2K gaming. With that said, that is it from your boy. And until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.